Hey, everybody, to another episode of Life with Akia Live. Yay! Today in studio, we have none other than the incredible Alycia Wells. I met this young woman, and she is so on point. She is one of the top mindset coaches that I know. She does mindset and wellness, where she focuses on your mind and your body. And she is just killing it out here. Without further ado, I'm going to bring up to the stage Miss Alycia Wells, your mindset coach. Hi, Alycia.
Hello. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm doing so good. Oh my goodness, I had a good rest today. Did a lot of self care, which I
Good.
know that's one of the things I've
Yes.
I've heard you speak about quite a bit.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
and just tell us just a little bit about you. How did you get into this whole mindset coaching business?
Well, I can say that this has been part of me all my life. It just developed a little later in life, but I was always that person who was positive, and encouraging, and always looking up things like before, like the internet, right? So I would buy magazines and books and offer suggestions for people on wellness. So I was always that person, but not until I got older, I started to really get into it. So, being a young wife and mother, I planted myself in the personal development aisle. And that was it. I dug in and I healed myself, I can say, from depression and anxiety. So, I did that by just implementing all the things that I have read.
Wow, that is really interesting. So you started out when you were younger as a young mother, you were
Hmm.
going through some changes
Yes.
personally, and you
Yes.
wanted to find out how to help yourself. So the personal development, the help with from that section of the bookstore, so to speak,
Yes.
helped you make these changes and what have you. So
Yes.
then you are specifically a mindset coach.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what would be
Specifically.
the difference, right? What would be the difference that someone would say, well, can I just go to the personal development aisle and read some books on personal development, or maybe listen to some motivational speakers like, say, a Tony Robbins or ET, and do it myself? What would be the
Yes.
significance of hiring a mindset coach, would you say? What would they get?
So with a mindset coach, and I want to, say first off, yes, you can. You can. We all have the ability to take time out, do personal care, and study, right? And to become, you know, better at making decisions and taking care of our health and our wellness. Yes, we can do that on our own. We can go to YouTube University and look up our favorite mentors that I did, the same way. So, yes, absolutely, it can be done. Now, I took it a little further by getting my certification at the Integrative Nutrition. The Institute of Integrative Nutrition. So I did that because I just wanted to go a little deeper. Even though I know I did a really good job with myself, I wanted to really help other people and fine tune the skills that I had. So, with that, I just built on my skill set and learned to ask questions and how to use my intuitiveness, if I'm saying that correctly, along with what I learned from our speakers in our certification group. So I would say one thing, the difference, yes, you can do it on your own, absolutely. But a person would hire a mindset coach when they have reached a certain level. Okay. So that is a person that's probably already um, does some type of personal development or a part of a group. But because they want to break through a certain ceiling, or maybe they want to make a certain amount, or maybe moving, right? Moving to a whole new city. So they have already done the work, but in life, as we all know, there are different levels to this journey, and sometimes you need help in a certain key area. And that's where I would come in, or, any professional, you know, in that particular area that they wanted to work in.
That's interesting. So you're not saying that people can, if they want to, they could hire, say, a coach or a mindset
Hmm.
or wellness coach at the
Hmm.
beginning of their journey. But
Yeah,
you're
they
also
can.
saying that a lot of the people that you, it sounds like a lot of people you work with have done some of the legwork themselves and they've reached a certain level that they
Yes,
realize in order for me to go further, I need somebody that have already walked that road or have more expertise to get me there.
absolutely.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
those seem to be a lot of the people that would be looking for a mindset coach. Now,
Yes.
one of the things that I've never heard of coaching, of course I've heard of coaching, but mostly in sports. Growing up,
Right.
there was football coaches, basketball. So we've all heard of coaching on that level for a sports
Hmm.
team. But I never heard of coaching until around 2015. I had a conference in California, and I think me and maybe 10 people in a room of like maybe 400 people, we were the only, like, count us on our hand. We're the only people in there that were not coaches. And I was like,
Right.
what's this? What did I miss? What's this coach thing? Because it's like everybody that I met, I'm a life coach, I'm a wellness coach, I'm
Yeah.
a business coach, I'm a financial coach, I'm a dating coach. I'm like, what's this coaching? Where have I been? So
Right.
this was like something, I don't know if it's something new because I really never heard of coaching until 2015,
Right.
which was like not that far long ago.
Right.
And it's like it seemed to just like blossomed and bloomed. So where did this idea that people wanted to hire a personal coach come from? All of a sudden, it
That
feels like.
that is a great question. I'm glad you asked that. So this is, I guess it would be a new term, right? Coach, right? Having a coach, or you can call it an advisor, a mentor. Okay. So it's all of
Hmm.
those things. Since in ancient times, there's always been an advisor or a coach, or let's say,
A
again,
tutor.
a mentor. Yeah. Or
Hmm.
there you go. Or a tutor. In
Hmm.
royalty, there's a staff to teach the children, right? In a specific area. So that's, those people are hired to do that particular job to help that person in that area. So I like to mention Marcus Aurelius, which was a Roman emperor and also a philosopher. And he had maybe 3 to 4 advisors, mentors, coaches, even though he had excelled to a great level to where he created his own philosophy, he still had a coach. He would have someone walk with him. When people greeted him, they would say, "Oh my gosh, you're so great. You're magnificent. I love the way you think." But his mentor was very close behind him, reminding him that you're a human. You are, yes, a man. So that's
Hmm.
what he knew, exactly what he needed. So that was the place of the advisor, even back in ancient times. And today, well, before it was more so for the more affluent. Okay. So celebrities, Oprah Winfrey, life coach. Oprah Winfrey has a life coach.
Hmm.
Martin Luther King had an advisor.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
So
So
there's yeah. I'm sorry.
so your capacity is in the form of when someone comes to work with you, you're their advisor. Could you
Yes.
like give us an idea of what that would look like when you're advising them?
Okay. So because I do a holistic approach with mindset, um, I take on any subject. And when I have a client that works with me for 6 months, I usually ask them what they want to work on. So right now, I have a, um, a lady who's, I believe, in her 50s, and she's never been married. So I I can do basically any subject, and it's just It gives me like complete dopamine rush to hear her speak and then to see her blind spots. And I take lots of notes. And then we try to work. Well, I can't say try. Look, I have a mindset coach. She told me I can't say try. But what we do is to actually work on those blind spots. So I will pick through her language and find out what may be stopping her from finding her mate, her soulmate out there. So that's my job, to listen to my client and to really like feel their soul, their vulnerability, and like piece together and give them tools and techniques to work through their belief system, or the negative belief system, or the stories that they tell themselves.
Okay. So that to me is very, very interesting because it sounds to me like when you're working with a client, you're actually, I remember the saying from Avatar, I see you.
Mm,
The movie Avatar, well, it meant deeper than I just physically see, of course I could see you on the screen, but it meant I
yes,
see you on a deeper level. So basically
absolutely.
you're deeply listening to them and deeply
Mm-hmm.
seeing them. And then when you
Yes.
deeply listen and see them, then I'm not saying what advice you would give a particular client, but what is the outcome that happens when they're seen and heard on that level?
What I want my client to walk away with is clarity. I'm not the type of coach that will tell you what to do, right? Because at the end of the day, I want them to be confident enough to listen to themselves and to hear that confident voice within, not my voice, but their voice. So I'm actually there to fine tune and to help them find their passion, and really take away the things that no longer serve them anymore, right? So that childhood of curiosity can come back, that creativity can come back. So that's what I do.
Wow, that's really, really interesting that you do that. So I know you got certified.
Yes,
You went through training to become a
yes,
coach. What do you
yes,
feel? I think everybody just slapping the word coach onto themselves. I don't know if there's any training. Like, how do you feel about that? Since you actually went and got training and got certified in coaching, but
yes.
also um, how do you feel about it, and how do people like sift through? Because it seems like everybody I meet, they're a coach these days.
Right.
So how
You're
do you sift
absolutely
through that?
That's another good question, because yes, I've seen it. I have seen it with my own eyes, especially on social media, where I feel that a lot of people will just say I'm a coach. And I do have to say, in defense of coaches, you don't have to be certified to become a coach. I do have to say that you don't. I have a coach that is not actually a certified coach, but she is absolutely phenomenal. And I knew when I met her and talked to her that she was my coach. And she pushes me, and I absolutely love it. Love her. But on the other hand, on social media, I do see a lot of people who claim to be coaches, and I can really tell like it's ego driven. It's about them, it's about money, right? Coaching is a $1.5 billion industry, and everybody wants a piece of that, right? So some people, I would guess it. I would say it's not their passion. If I didn't get paid for this, I would still do it. Okay. And in my beginning stages, I did not get paid for my services. And I was just
Okay.
as happy to be able to, help people. But you will see a lot of ego driven people out there who want to, coach without really knowing how to, without really knowing how to do it in a way that leaves a person with their dignity.
When you say leaves a person with their dignity, what do you actually mean by that?
Some people will become a coach in order to talk down to people or tell them what they should and
Ah,
they shouldn't be doing.
mm,
We're all here on this planet Earth to learn a lesson, and we are not perfect, you know.
okay.
So we are all, short on something, right? We all need to progress in something. I just don't like the way a person may talk down to someone, um, telling this is not right and this is wrong, and I just don't believe that that's the way it should be done.
But are they trying to take the approach like you see some sports team where the coach like yells at them or belittles them, or it's kind of like a military style coaching? Do you think that some people may thrive with that style of
Some
coaching
people,
versus
yes, okay. Now the coaching that I do is, an assertive coach, okay? I am assertive coach, but I take the holistic approach. But for me, when I'm being coached, I like to have someone that's a little aggressive because I respond to that. I love challenges, but somebody else may not, need that type of coaching. It just depends on the individual person.
so do you change it up based on who you're working on?
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly. But
Yeah.
yes, I would consider myself, to be, I would say I am very assertive and I want my clients to walk away feeling empowered. And if that means making them feel uncomfortable, then that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, sometimes growth comes through that discomfort.
Oh, absolutely.
You do not grow when you're that comfortable. And
No,
and they must have some level of discomfort in their life to want to hire a coach.
you have to. You have
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
So
Like, I get myself out of my comfort zone almost daily just to shake it up. I like to scare myself sometimes because I've been in like a little closet for so long. It's like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I know what my mind is telling me. My mind is telling me to be comfortable. And I'm, no, no, not today. No, we're not.
okay.
So that's what I would like to, teach my clients as well. In order to get to the goal, um, or whatever that level is you want to go to, you have to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. It's like
You
when you're
have to push yourself.
exercising. Yeah, it reminds me
Yes.
of when you're exercising, they say no pain, no gain. I mean, you shouldn't hurt yourself, of course,
Right.
but you're going to feel a
Yes.
bit of discomfort in
Yes.
order to
Oh,
build those
yes.
muscles and to get to that next level of strength or endurance or speed or whatever it is you're striving for. So it's like anything in life, there is going to be a bit of discomfort in order for you to achieve that. So that's okay with
Hmm.
coaching. So it's not
Yes.
just what they say, unicorns and rainbows and
Absolutely not.
kumbaya. It's
No.
there's going to be challenges.
And through that uncomfortableness, there may be tears,
Hmm.
frustration, um, wanting to give up. All of the things, are involved in coaching. But
Okay.
I wouldn't
And do you
ask the
give?
client to. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I wouldn't ask the client to do something that I didn't do myself.
All right. So do you give them like a heads up, like these are the things you're going to probably experience working with me? You may get frustrated, you may get angry, you may cry a bit. I'm going to push you and challenge you because that's why you're high. Just like that
Yeah.
coach is yelling at that player to push harder and put a
Yes.
little bit more out of him. So you're basically getting them to do that.
Yes. Now,
Hmm.
what I do is to ask the client if they are coachable. Okay.
What does that
So
mean?
if they're up for a challenge, right? to do things that they have probably never thought of doing. Maybe if there's a person who wants to become more confident, and I would say, hey, this week I would like you to talk to 5 people. Maybe if you're standing in line at the waiting for the cashier, and why not turn around and speak to 5 people? So those are things that people who are shy or not very confident would not want to do.
Got you, got you. Like if you told me go talk to 5 people, I'm like, I probably already talked to 10. So you want me to talk to 5 more? Because I'm very blah, blah, blah,
See, that's you. That
blah. Yeah. As you know already.
yeah,
You
yeah,
can
yeah. But
talk.
I love that. I love that about you.
Oh, you're gonna laugh at this one. My daughter, when she was in her, I guess, tech college, she
Uh-huh.
was doing her videography course, and her teacher analyzed handwritings. So she came home and told me all the things that her teacher, you slant this letter this way, this letter straight up, and all the things it meant about you. So she said, Mom, put your signature on a page and I'll get my teacher to analyze it. So I just wrote out my signature, just went like this. And then her teacher looked at it and said, Whoever this is, they talk a lot, a lot.
Oh,
Just
wow.
by looking at my handwriting. So,
See? I never heard of
so I
that.
write like a talker. I didn't know. I was like, I could
Look, you have personality. Personality in your writing, right? That comes out in
say,
everything.
that was to whoever they said they talk a lot, a lot. He
I
didn't say
guess,
just a lot.
what
He
would they
said
say
it
about my
twice.
handwriting?
Yeah, so I found that to be really, really funny. But like you said, so someone like myself, I have a habit of, I would say, like I could get things done. So I don't know if my procrastination is to give me enough pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh, I got a deadline, I got to get done. So I'm like one of those people that cram for the exam the
Yeah.
night before, 2 nights before. I'll get everything done. I mean, I'll pass the test, and a lot of times
Right.
I'll do well on it. But
Yeah.
it's like, then I kick myself. I said, you had all those weeks where you could just you leisurely done this. But for
Right.
some reason, my mind, it's like, it's just more intense, I guess, that I do it that way.
Okay. But yeah,
So
the pressure
I'm
is more
not
intense and that
yeah,
motivates
and then I
you.
could get it done. Yeah,
Yeah.
so maybe I don't know if that's something I need, what you would say, get coached out of. Because sometimes I wonder, what if I had taken the time to do everything? But then I did read something about people that procrastinate. They usually get like a big download because they have so much pressure. They pull on some
Oh,
other
okay.
parts of themselves
They
to get
need,
it
yeah.
done. Yeah, versus, if you start at the beginning, then you don't get all that other input now that you have this pressure and you need to do it. So maybe that's not a
Right.
really good question to ask. But I do sometimes get frustrated with myself about procrastinating on things because
Right.
it's like, why are you waiting? You have the time, you could get it done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I said,
Now, do
so
you
if you were
feel any
coaching
level of
someone,
stress
when?
when you're
At what
doing
point?
the while you're doing the activity at the last minute? Do you feel any type of stress?
No,
No?
I actually, if things begin to flow faster.
Oh,
Yeah, I
well, that
actually
could be.
start to like I get my biggest insights like, oh, this and oh, that.
See.
But it seems like nothing's happening. But it was very interesting because I went and saw Eric Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
and he said his team kept asking him the whole week. They said, we need your slides by Thursday because the event was Saturday. And they
Mm-hmm.
said, send us your slides, send us your slides, send us the slides. He said he didn't know. So he said he just wrote some slides and sent it to them. But he said
Yeah.
it wasn't until 8:15 that morning. His talk was at 10:30. At 8:15, he got this big dump. This is what you're going to be talking about. Had nothing to do with the
Wow.
slides.
The
But I
slides.
find that that does happen. I could totally relate to what he was saying because a lot of times I don't get that inspiration, or I call
Yes.
it a divine download. I don't get it
Yes.
until I'm about to do it. And then I get it.
Yes.
And it was interesting because my daughter, because I do a lot of intuitive work. And my
Yes.
daughter, the one with the blonde hair, the younger one, Aisha, that you had just
Hmm.
met, she's very intuitive also. So I said, why do I have to wait to the last minute to get like, and she said, you like to think about stuff too much and you'll overanalyze it and mess it up. So she said, we just
So
wait
we
until you're ready to do it. And then
see.
we'll,
Uh-huh.
then we'll do a download. I was like, oh yeah, I probably would, because then I'll start picking it apart because I like
Right.
bookmark.
Right.
Right? I'm
Yeah.
always analyzing everything I'm reading.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? Everybody's different, right? So
Hmm.
if that works for you, leave it
You
alone,
wouldn't coach
right?
me out of it. Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't coach you out
It's
of that. If
working.
it works for you,
Okay.
it doesn't cause you any stress. Why?
Yeah. Not
Why
while I'm
why
doing
mess
it.
with it?
I
Right.
I beat up myself before and after. Like while I'm
Yeah.
in the middle of creating it, I'm good. But
Yeah.
before I'm like, stop being lazy. Get on it. You need to get this done. Like, you're my accountability. Like, I need to get this and
Right.
this done when we do it. I was like, I got to tell you when I get it done, because otherwise I probably won't do it. But then
You,
afterwards, I say, why did you waste all that time? So it's the before and
the
after of
before and the
myself that
after.
beating myself up. Like, why did you do? You could have.
You know
So if
what?
you have somebody, like, what would you tell them? Yeah.
Give yourself grace. Give yourself
Okay.
grace. You did it, right? So stop the
Hmm.
negative talk after, right? And just
And
tell
before.
yourself, like, you did it. Like, you actually
Hmm.
did it. You completed it. You did, the task at hand. And yeah, let it go. Let it flow right
Yeah.
from you. Okay. Sometimes you got to stop that cycle of beating yourself up.
Criticism. Yeah,
Right.
self-criticism.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh huh.
So I need to work on, so it's not procrastination. I need to work on self-criticism
Yeah.
more so.
Yeah.
Because I used to like chuckle to myself because I would, teach a class and I will get that material for them the night before. This is from the teacher's perspective, not even being a student.
Kia.
I couldn't figure out what I want. Yes, I'm telling you. It's like, okay, I got it the night before. And the students were like, wow, this is so great. This is so well organized. And I'm like, if they just knew I just did this a few hours ago,
But that's your spark of
I'm
look, I
confessing.
like that. I like it. See, I'm totally the opposite, right? I will work on something and work on it and perfect it over a couple of weeks. So
Hmm.
my creativity is like ongoing, Sometimes I'll have a big spark of creativity. So I'll kind of
Hmm.
like cram everything then and then organize later.
Hmm.
But yeah, so we're kind of the opposite.
Which, see, when I was a kid, I felt guilty because the kids like yourself that would actually study, they used to say, study 2 hours every night. And I didn't do any of
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I didn't,
yeah. And
I
I
just,
didn't like
I
people
just look
like
at the
you
book.
because
I would just skim through the pages and say, okay, that's
see,
that, and then go and make 100 on the test. And it wasn't,
see,
and I'll do it the day before because then I'll remember what I just read it, so now I remember it. So
see.
I was that kid, but then I would feel guilty. I said, oh man, if I had the discipline to study better, like do my 2 hours
Yeah,
every night, I would be probably a better student. That's how I kept thinking. I'm like, you're
yeah,
cheating. You're not doing what you're being told to do. So I used to look at the students like you and say, one day if I had the discipline, I could be like that. That
yeah,
was so
yeah.
fun. Yeah. So that's
But
that's
yeah,
how
I,
I
I
was.
totally get it. And I was again the opposite. So I was the one
Mm-hmm.
that had to really like I would struggle, but repetition was my thing. So the
Mm-hmm.
more I, would study, and I teach my daughter the same way. Like, hey, there will be an exam in the middle of the
Mm-hmm.
school year. So go ahead and just study 15 minutes every night over your material. I just tell her
Okay.
get in the habit of doing that, um, because that's how I learn to learn. I know how my brain works. So yeah, but yeah, I
And
didn't.
and
For
and
people
and when
who
you're go ahead, Elisa.
and for people like yourself who were able to just study the night before, I was jealous of people like you, because it's
And
like
vice versa.
yeah, it's
I'm not
like, man.
disciplined. I used to be, I'm not disciplined. Why did I study every day? But what
Yeah.
I realized was like you said the word, and I figured out what it is when you said that word. The repetition. Once I
Hmm.
heard something and I got it, it was like I got it.
Right.
I didn't like to hear the same thing repeated because once I got it, it's like, okay, I got
Mm.
that information now. I don't need to hear it again. So
Okay.
like my kids will watch the same movies over and over. If I've seen the movie before, I won't watch it again. It's like I've
Yeah,
seen it
you're
already. I
done.
know what's going to happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's the same thing even with learning. Once I've learned something and I do have it, I don't really need to hear it again. I'm like, okay, let's move on to the next thing now.
Okay.
So maybe
And
because
you're
of
able
that
to
is the
retain that
reason.
information over time as well?
I retain the information over time if it's something I find interesting. It needs to be something that either stands out or I find it extremely interesting,
Okay.
or um or I will do it like maybe the night before because it was fresh in my brain and I could remember it. And I
Yeah.
realized very early on, I realized from first grade, they just wanted you to repeat. I came to that conclusion in first grade, like, oh,
Wow.
I don't know how to read. I was in first grade. I had
Yeah.
just came from Jamaica. It was the end, it was like May. School ended in June. I got into class
Hmm.
in May. And they wondered how did I pass the class. All I did was sit there and mimic whatever they said. I did not know how to read, and they thought I was brilliant because they would be like, "See the boy. The boy has a
Nakia.
dog. The boy has a ball." I didn't know how to read. I just looked at the page, and then they said when they called on me, I just said, "See the boy. The boy." So I just imitated. So I learned from first grade, like this is easy. All I have to do is just
See,
mimic
she
what
said,
they
all I
just
have to
said,
do is
and they
this.
figured I learned it,
See?
and I passed. They said they thought I wasn't going to pass the first grade because I was just there for 1 month. They were like,
Wow.
"Oh, she must be really smart. She knows how to read." I didn't learn
She's like,
how to
all I
read
have
till
to do
I
is
was like in third grade. Yeah, all I had to do is repeat. So I spent all of second grade just repeating. Whatever they said,
wow.
I had enough recall. It's like listening to a song. How people listen to a song and they sing it back. I just was like, that's what they want us to do. Like I could do math like that, 1 plus 1. I
Yeah.
could do that
Yeah.
stuff. But reading, I really truly did not know how to read properly till I got into about third grade.
Okay.
Because up
Because you
until
were,
then,
yeah.
I was repeating.
That's
You could look at
interesting.
the pictures in the book, because they
Well,
got pictures in
yeah.
the book then, and you could look at the
Yeah.
pictures. The boys running with a dog and a ball. So I was like,
Yeah.
all I have to do is say
And
that.
that makes a lot of sense, Akia, because a lot of children will sing that and they really don't know the alphabet
Hmm.
are able to sound it out. So,
Yeah.
they start off behind because they're singing, but to
Hmm.
actually say it and know what that symbol means, it, can be a challenge for some kids. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
But I knew the symbols, I knew the letters themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know like certain words, and then just from repetition, hearing them say, I would recognize words like
Right.
boy. You see it over and over, or you see dog over and over. So I'd recognize certain words. But for me to sit there and read you a full paragraph by myself, I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
do it at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not till
Mm-hmm.
third grade. And my aunt spent one summer with a book with no pictures in it. They bought me a
Wow. And
couple of
then,
chapter books that had no pictures in it, and then I had to read. And I did the same thing. She read the line, then I read it. Then she read it, then I read it. And by the end of the summer, I read enough that I understood what I was reading. It clicked in. But yeah,
mm-hmm.
it was just I just realized school was just repetition. Just say whatever they just
Wow.
said, and you're good.
Look, look at you.
I spent my life just repeating. I was like, school's easy. Just whatever they said, say
That's
the
all I
same
got to
thing.
do. I got
Yeah,
this.
I didn't have to think about it. You just basically, and exams were just that. Whatever they said, you just had to that was the right answer.
See, lucky
And I'm
you.
very auditory. Yeah, plus I'm an extremely auditory person. So if you're a
Okay.
person that is more like you feel you got to do things to learn it, or you're very, very visual, then that might
Mhm.
not work. The fact that I'm very
Right.
auditory and I could remember
Yes.
conversations. Like it was easy to learn for me in
Yes.
school because everything was a lecture.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
I like I was well, I am still a creative person. So in any way I can use my senses. So if I'm
hmm
reading, I like to have an audiobook play while I read because I like to
yeah.
get it in all, different ways. While I'm reading, I'm using my hands to hold the book and I'm, listening to the book. That way it really sinks in. And so also, YouTube, just listening over and over
hmm
again to, my favorites, like Eric Thomas and there's just so many people I listen to on YouTube. It sometimes all goes, you know,
Folds.
intertwined into, each other. But I absolutely, I take it however I can get it, get
hmm
it, so that I can remember the information.
Yeah. So that is really good because if people know their learning styles, but there was something else I wanted to hone in with you on coaching. So you said that people don't necessarily need training to coach. They might just be naturally gifted at coaching.
Hmm.
And some people do take training and there's qualifications. Are there any, like most other professions, like I was in acupuncture at one point, there were no
Hmm.
real licensing for it. Now it's very regulated. It's very, there's a lot of licensing and stuff.
Hmm.
Do you see coaching going in that direction, or you think it might be
I
as it is
think
now
that
unregulated?
yeah, because right now it's not, it's unregulated. So I believe soon, I would say in the next 5 years, just my own observation, that there will be some type of regulation. I'm not for sure, but I just see it going in that direction because I think everybody needs a coach. That's just something that I believe. Just like therapy, just having different modalities of to be able to have self awareness. I guess is what I want to say. Um, I am also a Reiki practitioner. So I believe in
Mm,
all different types of healing practices. And that's just another way for me to use my intuition and, just to be able to help people.
mhm,
But I do believe that I mean, the industry is growing and I believe it will
mhm.
continue to grow.
Yeah, it looks like a very growing industry because, like I said, I heard of it in 2015, and now
Hmm.
almost every single place I go online, um, I go to a conference, I go anywhere, and there's this all this talk about coaching or come and take my course. I will coach you through such and such and such. So
Right.
so other than being a buzzword, it feels like an industry that's starting, but then, like you said, you could get a few bad apples in there.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. You sure can. There's always bad apples in every profession, like
Mhm,
lawyers, doctors, nursing. You know, you will always have that. I guess it's just that it's just part of every industry, I guess, we can say. I do love what I do. And I know the industry is growing. And I don't think we just think of how many people that we have on planet Earth. Okay. So
close to
we
8
need there.
million, yeah.
Yeah, we need a lot of coaches. We need people, even if you don't call yourself a coach, even, maybe a life coach, or, maybe there's a coach as a sport. Everybody needs help. Everyone.
Mhm,
Like I
okay,
am a coach, and for myself, I have had maybe 3 to 4 coaches over the years. And
mhm,
every year I will find someone and I will say, okay, because I'm looking. It'll take me time to figure out who they are, but
mhm,
I will hire a coach
okay,
because every coach
and
needs a coach.
yeah, and everything like what you're saying, because people have also called me a coach, And I'm like, I don't even know what a coach is. Other than say a football coach,
You are,
like people say,
look,
"Are you a coach?" And I'm like, I don't
yes,
know. I
you are.
said, well, I look at it this way, because I
Uh-huh.
asked coaches, well, what's your process? And they said, well, they usually ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And I said, well, in medicine, you have to ask questions. You got to do an intake. You got to get a past medical history. You got to get a family history. So there is talking and asking questions because all those questions you're trying to come up with an assessment for treatment. That's the end goal. It's like you understand based on what you just told me how I need to treat you correctly. So
Yes.
that's like the end game. So, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel that, yeah, there might be an overlap in the fact that I would ask questions. And when I do my creation and my intuitive work with people,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing is that I'm not asking them questions at that point because
Mm.
that doesn't require me to ask them any questions because I'm tuning in. Because what I normally see is the things that's hidden from them.
Mm.
Like, like I always say it this way. I say, if you were aware of what it is, then you could take care of it yourself, most likely.
Right.
So it's the
There.
stuff that
Ooh.
you're unaware of that I
I
would
call
come in
them
and intuitively look at you. Go ahead.
I call them blind spots.
Yeah, those blind spots. And that's what I see intuitively. I could look and see, oh,
Mm.
this is where you're having this issue. This is
Mm.
what needs to be addressed or changed. And then when I do creation on them, that's the technique, the
Got
system
you.
that actually helps to change that energy. So it's a
Okay.
combination of those two things. I look at you intuitively. I still listen to people. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I really listen to them because they need to get stuff off their chest. But I don't need to
Mm-hmm.
hear the
Mm-hmm.
story in order for me to do that level of work that I'm
Okay. I
doing with
got you.
them.
I got you.
So that's the reason why when people say you're coaching, I said I had to like quantify. Well, actually, what is a coach? And I realized it's not exactly. Mine is more. I'm asking you questions to treat you, or I am tuning into your energy, observing you and everything because I'm going to tune in and find out what that those blind spots that you have that you cannot see, so that we could clear those up so you could move on. So there's no real talking involved in that, me doing that
Okay.
process with you. So that's why I
Okay.
said I'm not really a coach, even though most people say, "Oh, it sounds like you're coaching."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the difference. Yeah.
And I listen for the words. I'm
Mhm.
looking for the expressions.
Mhm.
And like with that, for me, it's like I hear the energy. I'm listening for the quiver in the voice. I'm looking for the pauses, and I know when to ask the question to go a little deeper and
Mhm.
maybe lead them on a meditation. So
Yeah.
yeah, I like to hear, and
Mhm.
it's just
Well, you're
something that
tuning
I know
into
what to
them.
pick out.
Yeah, and you're tuning into them. You're tuning because there's a certain resonance. There's a certain
Yes.
I can't put my mind, but when you know it, you know what it is, and when you
Yes.
say, "Aha, there it is," and then you know that's how to go. And so a lot of times when I'm doing intuition work with people, it's just that. It's like, okay, and I've been doing it for so long that somebody could come in
Right.
like, okay, I could be packing my bags and telling you what it is, at this
Right.
point,
Right.
because I've done it for so many years. It's like I could be in the middle of chopping up vegetables. It's like, yeah, that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
this, this, this,
Yeah.
and this. So it gets to the part where it becomes second nature to you because you've
It's
done it
second
for so
nature.
many years. Yeah. So it
That's
doesn't, like I don't have to like before. I remember when I first started working with patients or clients this way, I would have to go into a zone. I would have to actually go into like almost like a near meditative state before I could
mm-hmm.
tune in and tap into them. Like you're doing with
Mm-hmm.
Reiki and stuff. You have to
Mm-hmm.
tune in,
Mm-hmm.
right? So for me to tap in, I had to get into that zone. But now it's like it's like instant. It's like a switch goes on and a switch goes back off. Okay, I'm
Yes.
done.
Yes.
The switch goes back
Yeah.
off. So I realize, and it's good because I've always wanted to talk to a coach. So I was so excited to talk to you after meeting you because I'm like, okay, let's see. And I have some questions about the mindset before we finish.
Sure.
But I wanted to talk to kind of clarify what is coaching because a lot of times people tell me, "Oh, Akia, you're a coach." I was like, I'm not sure because I wasn't really sure what coaching actually was, to be honest with
Right,
you.
right,
So I
right.
wanted some clarification on it because I hear it so much. So when you say mindset, you like I understand what wellness is. You're working with people to
Mhm,
improve their health. That's what
mhm,
I am.
mhm.
I assuming that, or is that true?
Well, can you reframe that question for me so I can answer it
With
correctly?
wellness, yeah. When you say I'm a wellness coach, I'm assuming that you're working with people so they could overall improve their health.
Right.
When you say wellness
Yes.
coach.
Yes.
Okay. So when you say a mindset coach, that's something else. So what actually is a mindset specifically kind of coach?
So with that, now I used to work with clients on it was really health wise, right? So we would talk about diet and exercise mainly because, a
Hmm.
lot of people want to lose weight. I would have clients and work with them for a couple of months, and they did well when they were with me for those 6 months. Now,
Hmm.
after the 6 months, they went back and returned to the same habits they had before.
Got you.
So during the pandemic, I, really thought really hard about it. When I started coaching, I really wanted to help people and I wanted to be that lifestyle to be sustainable. So I took time
Hmm.
off to try to really figure out where I wanted to hone in on for those clients because I didn't want to have a client just to lose weight, to aesthetically look nice. Okay. That wasn't my thing. I wanted my clients to heal, traumas, um, and just the old baggage that you sometimes carry from childhood of negative beliefs that they may have.
Hmm.
So I decided to go a little deeper and work on mindset only. So with that skill that I decided to really hone in on, I can help with a number of things in lifestyle, but it always boils down to your mindset. Do you really believe that you can do it? And I will have some clients say yes, but then if I ask them a question, there's an answer which says they have a negative belief system or they have a negative belief tied to um a thought somewhere that they believe in lack. Sometimes that's all it could be, and I would be able to work with them and to um, reverse that, and we come up with new belief systems, and therefore they can reach their goals. So I believe that the meat and potatoes to anything that you want to do in life is your mindset.
That's so interesting that you say that because it really parallels like the career that I had. Um, I started out doing acupuncture, same like you, interested in
Hmm.
healing people, healing their body. But percentage, I'd say 15%. So 85% of my patients were doing great. That 15% really bugged me
Hmm.
because I would get them out of pain or out of stress. And like you said, their symptoms would reoccur. And
Hmm.
I'm like, why can't they get past a certain point? So what I started doing is doing like a lot of research on consciousness,
Mm.
mind body, the interaction between the mind and the body. And then I started treating them and I learned various techniques that balance the mind and the body together, certain energetic techniques. So still no talking was involved, but it was more shifting their energy.
Hmm.
Um, so when I did those techniques, they were able to sustain their treatments. So if I
Right.
got them out of pain, they could stay out of pain. If they got out of
Yes.
stress, they could stay out of stress and so forth. And that led me to, like you said, it started to just unfold organically for the connection between just working on the physical body. Now I'm working on the interactions between the mind and the body. And then that
Hmm.
led me to now I have to work on the intuitive information so you're working more on a soul and spirit level because you're tapping
Yes.
into their intuition. And then it led me
Hmm.
to creation, which is more about what their destiny and their purpose is all about. And so
Love
if
it.
you don't fulfill your destiny, you get sick. So when I start to see that pattern, that's how I got to where I got to. So it makes so much sense that you said, look, why aren't they maintaining the changes we just made?
Hmm.
And that was one of
Hmm.
the things that bugged me as a practitioner also. So that
Yeah.
I knew I liked you. I knew
Yeah.
we had a lot
Well,
in common. Yeah.
Akia, well, when we met, I met Akia at a MMU event and she was dancing the whole time. I kid you not. Okay. Now I'm a dancer. Okay. I like to dance, but I stopped a couple of times because I had to catch my breath. Akia, every time I saw her, she was moving and she was dancing. And I'm like, I like her.
Yeah, I remember you came over and say, "Could I join your group?" I said, "Yeah, come on in the Morris area. Let's get." Do you remember the chant? Hey, what was it? Hey you, hey
Um,
you.
no,
It was
hey,
hey
hey,
you, hey
you.
you,
Wait,
hey
no,
hey
hey,
hey
hey,
you,
you. Welcome to MMU or something like
MMU.
that, I
Hey
think.
you, hey you. Welcome to the MMU. Hey you.
Something,
Was it
yeah.
something like
Hey, hey,
that? We were
you.
like cheerleaders.
Welcome to
We
MMU.
knew. And
We
you know
had
what was fun?
fun.
Was the only thing we were missing was a set of pom poms.
That was it.
We were like
Next time,
the greeting
look,
cheerleaders. Yeah,
next time, next time.
we're gonna tell because I was like, I'm a greeter. What does a greeter mean? You know, it's
Like,
like,
what does coaching mean? What is
yeah, I was
that?
like, I'm a greeter. Oh, I'm supposed to greet people. Okay. I'm like, hey, how you doing?
She's like,
And
no,
then I
let's
started
dance.
thinking, yeah, I started thinking, oh, well, maybe we could find some way to make it really, welcome people in a,
Yeah,
kind of lit
yeah,
way.
yeah.
And then that other young lady, I think Jennifer, she came up with the bar. She
Yeah.
just all of a
I
sudden, right
can't
off the top of her
remember.
head, came up with the bar. And I was like,
We just
hey
all
you,
joined in.
welcome to MMU. And then we said, oh, we gotta have a dance that goes with it. And then we came up with the
And
steps,
then
and it
that's
was
when
so much
yeah,
fun. Yeah.
yeah.
We had
But
to point people where
it
they
was a
had to
good
go.
time. It was a
Yeah,
good
that was
time.
so much fun. Oh my God, I had a blast doing that. I haven't had so much fun, and I don't get out often. So when I get out, I'm
Me
just
either.
all over. Yeah, working from home. Okay, so you're a coach. I do a lot of intuitive work, creation work. So all the work I do can be done remotely.
Right.
So are you also with your coaching working from home? How's that going?
Yes, so I do work from home. So just like you, I can
Hmm.
do everything over a Zoom or over phone. Okay. So, and I
Yeah,
also
same here.
do, yeah, I give clients access to me through an app called Voxer. So they have a chance if they would like to ask the question, they can record it on Voxer, and within 24 hours, I can respond to their question. So that's the access that they, have with me, if they needed a question and couldn't wait until their next appointment.
Nice.
But
Better
yeah,
than
I
text
can,
messages like that.
yeah, it's kind of like that, but they can leave a voice
Hmm.
message. They can either leave a voice message or text.
Nice, nice. I got to get that info from you.
Yes,
So I
ma'am.
could just put my clients in there so I don't have to scroll through all my text
Right,
messages. That's pretty
exactly.
good.
Yeah, it
Nice
makes it much
tool.
easier. Yeah,
Hmm.
because everything's
Yeah.
separated out for you.
Hmm. So that
But
is
yeah, I can
really,
say
really good.
it's going well, and I am very excited. And Akia, I'm going through a transition. I do have a salon, so I know sometimes you see
Oh,
me working after 8 on clients. So I guess, no, it's not. I guess as of January this year, I will be leaving my salon and doing my coaching full time, completely from home. So I am
beautiful.
very excited about it. Very excited because for 5 years I've been doing both, right?
Hmm.
And just last year I told myself on January 1st, I said I will not be in the salon next year. And my husband said, "Hmm." I said, "That's it."
Well, once you make up your mind, one thing that I have
Hmm.
found with every single decision that I've ever made in my life, I just make up my mind and say, okay, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
And burn the bridges, no looking back, no pillar of salt, none of that. It's just like, I'm just moving forward. I'm
that's
doing this.
it.
I'm done. And you get to the point where, okay, I'm done. That has I'm grateful for whatever that experience was, where it has led me. I have gratitude for that, but I'm done.
Yes,
All I
I'm
need to do
done.
right now is just move forward with what I'm doing. So yeah. So congratulations. I know it's going to be highly successful. I know you're dedicated to the
Yes.
success of your clients, Alicia. And any words that you would want to leave, like pearls, gems that you'd want to leave with the audience before we close?
Good question. I guess I would say that just remember when feeling discouraged, you have everything that you need in that current moment. Everything you need. And you have to believe that. Don't believe in lack of anything. I am very spiritual, and I do have an understanding that whatever I need will be presented to me and given to me when I'm ready. But as for today, everything I need to be successful, I have it already. And that's my gem.
That is a beautiful, beautiful gem. Um, could you let them know if they want to get in touch with you, if they want to reach out to you? We will put it in the description box below. We'll put her links there, but just let them know so in case sometimes people
Yes.
forget to look there, how they could reach you.
I made it easy for people to find me. So my website is aliciawells.com. So very easy. It's my name. Also on Instagram, you can find me at Coach Alycia Wells underscore. LinkedIn, I am, I think I am the same, Coach Alycia Wells. Yeah, I think it's just Alycia Wells. So I try to make it easy across the board for people to find me so it's not confusing. Now, I do have a couple of under that name, but I don't want people to get confused. So just always look for Coach Alycia Wells or aliciawells.com.
Okay, well, thank you. And we're going to put that in the description box. And thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. This was a lot of fun. And you clarified a lot of questions that I had about coaching because I was curious. I'm like, what is this coaching thing that everybody keeps talking about? So I was very curious about that. And thank you for clarifying those points for me. And thank you so much for coming. And hey, everybody. Oh my goodness, that was really a great episode. I loved it, and I hope you loved it also. And I would love to ask you to like, share, and subscribe. Definitely share this with a friend. They need this information. And thank you all for tuning in for another episode of Life with the Kia. Bye.